Hi YouTube, and welcome back to the second part of the 1/48 scale Airfix Supacat Coyote build. You may recall that in the first part we went up to stage 30 and left it at that. As with the last part of the build, I have already done some things which are repetitive, and most of the parts I have got off the sprue and got ready to be put straight onto the model kit. So if I can just show you what I've done so far. So on the Coyote, I have basically gone down one side and done several items which are repeated actually on the opposite side. I've put one of the doors on, some of the luggage areas I've put on, one of the smoke dischargers and the step board. I will obviously then go down this side and do the same, and all I've done is just put one on already, as I say, because there's 4 of these and the steps basically repeated. So the first thing that I need to put on is going to be the second door, which was something we constructed last time. And what we have is that is held in place by this part, and basically on step 39 you do both sides together. So this part locates into 2 holes on one of the bulkheads that you put in the earlier stage. Now what I did was I located it in position and then put some glue on, but I didn't glue down the front part. The reason being is that you need to be able to locate onto the model. There's a very tiny hole here and there's a very tiny hole in the top part that you've just put on, which locate the door hinges on the spare tyre door and the spare ammo door just there. So you need to locate that in the bottom hinge, and then I found it easier to locate in the top hole. Like thus. And so that is now in place, and keeping that in place, she said. And so keeping that in place, I'm now just going to add some glue to that end, making sure to avoid the hinge, like thus. So that's both the doors on now, and it's exactly the same on the opposite side as it is for this. I haven't decided how I'm going to model the kit yet, whether I'm going to get some accessories, I probably will, or whether I'm just going to leave it bare. I do know I want to get the vehicle crew that Airfix sells separately, so I'm actually going to leave the front off of this so that I can get the driver into position. So the next steps are the stowage bins here, which I've already done. And then last but by no means least, the final stowage bin on the end here. Now the stowage bins themselves are a 3-part construction, and they do go together reasonably simply. It's just that obviously being quite small they're a little bit fiddly. And I found it best to hold them in place and just put a dab of glue on and then finish off with another dab. And again on this side, just holding that in place. And that's that. So to hold the stowage bins in place, there are these brackets, tiny brackets, which do have a pin hole in them so that you can rotate the stowage bins. Now, getting these into position is actually, putting them in position is actually not too difficult. What is difficult is getting them to stay in position whilst you put in the stowage bin, which is located into the previous one that I installed. And then what I found easiest was a tiny bit of glue on each one, and then you have to be quick because the plastic weld will evaporate, locating this in position. It's not the easiest thing in the world, unfortunately, because it's such a tiny part. So let's try that again. And tiny part there, tiny part there. And then put it in place. There are guide holes for it to go into. And as you can see, it is quite fiddly. I may cheat slightly, and rather than have it rotating, I'm very tempted to actually just have it in the stowed or open position. I'm going to take a little bit off the side here because there's a slight problem with the fit. Just be careful how you do it because this is very, very delicate. Okay, let's try that. I have been looking online to try and find some accessories in the 1/48 scale that I can use to pad out the vehicle, and once I've got those accessories, I will do another video to show where I'm placing them on the kit. And as I say, these stowage bins were the ones that gave me the most trouble, and I'm actually going to model this one in the open position, I think. No, I'm not. So all being well, that should be it. No. So yeah, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna glue this down. I'm gonna glue this bracket in place now, and then I'm going to file the bin to fit and glue it in the open position. So I know Tamir do a set of jerry cans that I am looking at as possible accessories for this kit. I won't be able to use all the jerry cans because some of the ones that are with the kit are World War II US rather than more modern jerry cans. But the German jerry cans in that kit are perfectly acceptable for the modern era. So now that that is done, the next part is this platform. Now the platform itself, again, very simple. It's just literally 2 struts. I've already glued one in place, and I shall do the second. Now I'm not actually going to glue this to the model, and the reason being is that by gluing